Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome everyone to the 307th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and those sexy legends over at Audio Technica. Go get some of their audio-based equipment in and around your ear holes as soon as possible. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me on this particular episode, as is tradition, my podcast Ride or Die, the Genji to my Kiriko. You can find her on them socials at Miss Allie Hart. Miss Allie Hart, how the bloody hell are you?
I need healing. Doing good. Doing good. Enjoying a Thursday recording. A little bit different. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling better than last week after listening back to myself and how tired I was.
Yeah. We were both very knocked about through lack of sleep or just too much going on and whatever else. So we're recording actually a day earlier than usual, and we're both feeling very chipper today.
Yeah, see? Caught us like when it's not the arse end of a week. We're actually still running on some fumes, some energy. So yeah.
One thing we realised though, recording the day earlier, is apparently not much news happens when you record a day earlier. At least it is this week, because we were scratching at all kinds of things to try and find anything that was going to fall out for us to talk about. We've got a good smattering of things to discuss today, so we've got enough to keep you all informed and entertained. But maybe we can start, as is tradition here on THG, and talk about what we've been up to. So, Miss Hart, do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, same old when it comes to playing Overwatch. Still enjoying it. Still haven't really dropped a penny on it, actually. I know I said last week I should probably get the Battle Pass, but still have yet to buy it. I think I'm hesitant. Like, seeing the price points for how much it costs to buy the in-game currency and what it translates to.
Holy guacamole.
I just look at the skins from afar now. I don't think that I can actually like justify purchases. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, do I actually enjoy the loot boxes more than this system that they've got where you just pay for everything? It
kind of sounds like you do.
It does. Or I do. I don't know. I guess I just want things a little bit more accessible, where obviously with loot boxes you earned them, and then it was obviously all random on what you got. So it was that kind of little gacha lottery kind of approach to getting stuff. So you didn't necessarily get what you wanted. But then when you have the Battle Pass, like, everyone gets the same thing unless you pay for a little bit extra. So there's free stuff, and then there's stuff that comes with the purchase of a Battle Pass, and then there's just the store. And obviously when you drop money, you can get what you want for the characters you play, which is a plus and a positive. But then the amount that they're asking and how that translates to in-game currency and how much they're asking, it just doesn't seem worth it. Like $20 gets you one skin.
It's certainly in line with the current interest rates in the property market. I think Blizzard have seen the stock market, or maybe they had a lot of money in crypto and they've lost a lot of their back ends. They're like, we need to recoup this big hole in our wallet and bank balance now. So they've jacked the prices up on skins.
I'm paying for a lot of lawyers.
And I have little self-control. Anyone that's listening to this podcast knows how little self-control I have when it comes to loot boxes and skins and things. But yeah, I've been hesitant with Overwatch too. I've bought the Battle Pass. I'll fully admit I bought the Battle Pass. It was $15 or whatever the price point was. I can't remember. But I haven't shelled out any extra money for the skins. There's been a few I've come close to, but yeah, the price point on them made me take a break for a second. And then I guess I just went over to Fortnite and wasted money on skins over there, even though they're like marginally cheaper. In my head, it seems like I'm saving more money buying them over there, which is just dumb, but I'm a weak-willed man.
Yeah, but I also feel like, I know I'm not one for justifying this sort of stuff, but I do feel in Fortnite there is more opportunity to earn in-game currency to then buy your own, buy skins that you want from the store and such. And then a lot of these skin packs do come with additional things. Same with Overwatch. There are packs where you can get like a character skin, a voice line, maybe an emote or something like that. But it's just expensive. It's ridiculously expensive, and I don't know. I'm getting hesitant on any idea of like this. Don't get me wrong. There's been things I want like badly. There's a lot of things for certain characters that I play where I would have loved to have bought them, but the fact that I'm still have yet to buy the battle pass, I think I'm just so hesitant to drop money on these things, especially when some of these purchases just for one little tiny thing could be equal to a game, like an indie game. I think that's what my brain does, is that my brain goes, you know what, I could buy a completely whole game for this amount. Like, so I think I'm just sitting there and just like rationalizing these purchases. And yeah, I guess that makes me a wet blanket. I don't know.
Do you think, I wouldn't say wet blanket, that's a little extreme, but I understand the hesitancy. Do you think it also comes from direct comparison with, say, Fortnite and Overwatch 2 is the skins you buy in Fortnite, they're always front and center because it's third person. You see your skin, you see your character, you see the emotes and everything like fully in front of you due to that third person view, where Overwatch, you're only seeing the arms. You see the skin in the load screen, or you maybe see it in the highlight reel at the end, or if you won the victory, but it's sort of sparingly shown in comparison to Fortnite, where that money you've dropped, you don't really see it very much because you just see, from the elbows up. That's
actually a really good point. I didn't think about it that way. There are the moments that you actually do see these things that you've purchased are very brief. Mm-hmm. And then you don't even really know if the people that you play with are really focusing on them anyway. Like, that would be the only other reason why you would buy it, is to show it off to your teammates. And I mean, how long are they really focusing on how cool you look? So that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. I played a little bit of Overwatch, and I'm really enjoying being able to get into Overwatch with like a full stack of friends and family and foes. And yeah, like I've been playing as Moira, and she doesn't have a ton of cool skins, so it's tough. And like, so there's the hesitancy that they don't look that great, then they're really expensive, then that other part where it's like, I don't even see these. So like, I'm just sort of sitting out on the sidelines wasting money on Fortnite skins, because Ash Williams from Evil Dead popped into Fortnite a few weeks ago, so I dropped some cash on that one, and now I'm just waiting to see what the next collab is. The sooner that Rick and Morty pisses off from the Fortnite shop, the better. Go away, please leave and never return, but give us a new IP to sink some money into.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I've got Rick and Morty fatigue. I'm so like just jaded old man when it comes to Rick and Morty these days. I know I need to get back into it because I've heard it's like gotten kind of good and it pokes fun at the meta-ness and the super fandom of what Rick and Morty's become as well. So I think I'd probably appreciate it, but I just I've hopped off the train. I'm having a hard time getting back on.
That's fair. I get that perspective. It just so happens that it's been playing at my house, and so I've gotten back into it. So. Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. Every time I get shot by a Rick or a Mr. Meeseek or something, oh my god, those skins are quickly ascending to the top of my hated skins list.
Yeah, the Mr. Meeseeks is one that I hate being killed by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or when you hear that "gotta get swifty" emote going, that just makes my blood instantly boil. But anyway, that's the old man rant of episode 307. What else you been doing, Miss Hart?
I finally got to play a game that's been sitting on my wanting to play list, and I know that this is gonna probably sound really out left field. Maybe not. Maybe people aren't so surprised by me anymore. A game just dropped on Game Pass, and it's called Frog Detective: The Entire Mystery. And it is an adorable, like, point-and-click adventure game where you play as a frog who is a detective solving mysteries, and it's just ridiculously cute and adorable, and there's a very like quaint sense of humor to it. And I as I was like looking into it just to double check like about the studio, I think it actually is Australian made as well.
Yep.
And I the reason why I did have to double check that was there was a bit of humor in there that I felt was a little bit more on the Australian side, it felt very more Australian, like, because as living over here, I'm finding myself making a lot of references and then being like looked at weirdly and then finding out that it's an Australian thing, not a worldly thing. So I'm noticing it more and more in media and gaming content and such like that. So to see that this very sweet game has Australian roots to it as well, it makes me even more happy to finally get to play it. And it's very cute.
Yeah, it's made in parallel through Victorian State Government and Film Victoria. So
Awesome.
they've helped get this game underway. And yeah, I think it's done by, from what I can see, just a team of 4, which is awesome. So a really small team here. And yeah, it's been popping up on the socials. Like when I saw it on the docket this morning, I'm like, why does that ring a bell? And then I asked you what it was about. And then I'm like, oh, yep, yeah, I saw a heap of friends on like an internet friends talking about it the last couple of weeks because it's on Game Pass or was coming to Game Pass. And the art style is super cute. And it looks like it'll be a bag of fun.
A bag of fun, but it's very cute in the humor. Like there's like a lot of moments, like right at the start, you find out that you've been selected for a job because you are the second best detective that your boss knows. Not the best, he's busy, so you're second best. So this the humor is very adorable in it. So yeah, don't think it's a kids game. It is very much like for everyone. Even though the impression first looking at it, it looks like a kid's game. But it's on Game Pass and it's just very lovely. It's a very lovely game to play. So if you're into something like a little less strenuous, a little less hectic, then definitely give Frog Detective a look.
It looks super quirky. It looks super fun, and yeah, on Steam or on Game Pass as well. So depending on if you want to own it and add it to your Steam catalog or get it part of your monthly Game Pass subscription, you can do that. And yeah, it looks fun. Looks super fun, and the character models are very interesting. I like that there's some Australiana in there, a few like koalas and things amongst the frog and the sheep and all these other animals. And yeah, I'm gonna have to watch a little bit more about it because it looks super fun.
Yeah, definitely recommend.
100%. Something that I recommend. I'm not going to go too deep on it because we've got a spoiler cast in the works to come out probably at some stage next week, give or take our respective playthroughs. But obviously God of War Ragnarok dropped in the last 48 hours, I think, if my maths serves correct, somewhere around there, officially, around the world.
Yeah.
So God of War Ragnarok has been released to much critical acclaim, to not many people's surprise, I guess you could say. This game's been very hyped and very, very, very largely anticipated since the sequel was announced a couple of years ago now. And my goodness, I'm not going to go into spoilers. Obviously, that's going to be reserved for Spoilercast. But all the hype you are seeing on this game and the review scores and the Metacritic score, everything like that is 110% justified. It is a very, 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 very special game. It's one of the most impressive games that I've played in a good long while, and that encompasses not only narrative, graphics, soundtrack. The voice acting is like GOAT tier. Like, you know, Chris Judge and everyone else that's involved in God of War Ragnarok, like that now synonymous Kratos tone that we got from Tilk is just... And the second you hear it, like the second you hear him just drop a little, you know, one-word response or something in the opener, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm back in. And it's just, this game is epic in every sense of the word. Like, that's the best way to describe it. And yeah, it's quickly shooting up the best of lists for 2022.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because you know, the big 4 in my head as far as games I've enjoyed the most: Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, Plague Tale Requiem, and God of War Ragnarok are the 4 heavy hitters for me as far as sitting at the top. But it feels like once I sit back and reflect on my time with this game, it might end up being the top of the pops for me. I'm not going to commit to that, and I'll keep that in suspense until our end of year recap episode we do. But this is a very special game, and yeah, any Sony fans that have been waiting patiently or impatiently for God of War Ragnarok to come out, I think that that waiting has been well deserved, and get into this game as soon as you can because it is very, very special. We've had a lot of very, very special games this year, and this one sits very proudly amongst the top of that list.
Very fair. I'm glad that it is turning out to be everything that everyone had anticipated and wanted out of the next installment of the series. Everyone loved do you call it the first? No, what do you call it?
Like, it's not really a reboot as such. Like, it is a continuation from the original earlier Sony games, but they've just I just reset the naming conventions.
Yeah. Oh, well, the one previous anyway. Everyone enjoyed that, and so there was obviously a very high bar of expectation for Ragnarok, and it seems like it's hit it. It seems like it's actually gone over. A lot of people are loving this game. I also enjoyed the outrage over here when everyone found out that Australia got it early.
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of time zones.
Yeah. So there was like a lot of risky social media and even Twitch streaming. Like a lot of people were already streaming it and getting access to it while everyone in America had to wait. I think it was like 9 o'clock here, 9 p.m. To play it. So, but yeah, I'm glad you guys seem to be enjoying it, and I'm sure everyone's looking forward to your spoiler cast to learn a little bit more and your experience.
It's so special, and I'm just constantly in awe from just little tiny nothing details, like the fact that it is that same continuous single shot camera. There's no load screens. And obviously there is if you die and it resets back to a previous checkpoint, but through the game, just the transition from cutscene back to gameplay is just, the polish on this game is absolutely absurd. And Santa Monica Studio and everyone involved in this game, like, hat tip to you, good sirs and good ma'ams, because holy crap, this game is just something else in all the right ways. And God of War Ragnarok is fantastic. Pick up a copy if you've got a PlayStation, because if you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you are downloading it though, be mindful, it's about 98 gigs if I remember correct, so it is a bit of a chunky download. So if you are looking to get this game underway, just put a little bit of time aside and some storage aside on your PlayStation 4 or 5 to be able to play this game.
Not only that, like there was a strong recommendation that once you installed it, there was a patch apparently. So people had to take into consideration to make sure that patch was installed as well, because it was very highly recommended from the studio to make sure you have that done.
Yeah, most definitely. And another game, I'm not going to really talk too much about it, but I've been playing the latest Star Ocean with Thanks to Play On as well. So I've been jumping back into my JRPG weeb fantasies, and I've been really enjoying it so far, but I've had to sort of put it down this week just because Ragnarok has taken precedence, and a little bit more Marvel Snap and Overwatch 2, obviously. So I'll circle back to that and give you some more in-depth thoughts on the latest Star Ocean in probably next week's episode. I think I'll try and put a bit more time into that, but I've really been enjoying it, and it's been nice to get back to that world, because The Last Hope is one of my favorite JRPGs from yesteryear. So it's been nice to sort of revisit that world. But Ragnarok is taken full focus for me, and Marvel Snap, because I made it over that level 1000 this week. So huzzah! And I've been on like a mission the last couple of... I've been steamrolling everybody, and I've gotten this sort of routine now where after I drop the first card, hit the snap, and then I'll use the Miss Marvel thumbs up. And I don't know if that like just gets people off their game, but so many people after a few rounds in the matches I'm having are starting to retreat, because it feels like I'm putting this false confidence out there that they think I've got all these cards set up, and I just bluff my way to so many victories, and it's the best.
Oh, I always thought it was when you kind of double up on the crystal, the little thing up the top.
The snap.
Yeah, I always thought that was a great way to make people nervous, especially at the start if you try to double it, because it's like, what do you know that I don't know?
Yeah, I hit that round one every single time, and then the cheeky little thumbs up from Miss Marvel. So it's like, look, I'm doubling up and I'm really confident. Haha, you're gonna verse me. And it's been a good run, but great Snap game. Marvel Snap, can't speak highly enough of that. But that's what we've been up to Something that y'all can get up to is heading on over to videogamesandculture.com/awards. Get those votes in for the 2022 biddies. We've been very appreciative of everyone that has been shooting their votes and thoughts in so far. We're going to be unpacking that, obviously, in about a month's time on the penultimate episode of the Hungry Games for 2022. So you still got plenty of time, but doing so, we're talking about those votes. Obviously, gets you in the running to win an assortment of swag from Audio Technica, from Spreadshirt, from a couple of the games and sort of films and TV shows that are going to be voted. So it's going to be a ton of giveaways, and all it takes is probably, a minute or two of your time to put your thoughts there. So a prize for your thoughts, one might say. So videogamesandculture.com/awards. Obviously, you can get merchandise from our official web store, shop8bit.net, or you can support us monetarily over at ko-fi.com/weare8bits. But Miss Hart, let's jump into the news.
This week's news headlines.
All right, the first little quick hitter. Plans are reportedly afoot for an MMO set in Sony's Horizon IP. This project is reported to be in development with Korean studio NC Soft, which is most famous for publishing the MMO RPG Guild Wars and its subsequent sequel. A source familiar with both Sony and NC Soft reportedly told Korean news site MTN the two companies have tentatively agreed to pursue a business partnership in which NC will create new games using Sony's promising game IP. The report goes on to state that NC Soft's internal development team was producing a new game of the Horizon IP by Guerrilla Games as its first franchise collaboration. So as the resident Horizon superfan on The Hungry Gamers, I do not think we need this.
Oh, snap. I thought you would be all about this.
Like, I love Horizon. I love the RPG part of it, but making this into an MMO, I just feel that the beauty and the focused storytelling might get a little bit lost in such a broader setting. Right. So I don't know. I don't think I really want this, but it sounds like it's happening, and I'll probably play it at launch just to see what it's about. But right now, I love me some Horizon. I love me some Guerrilla Games. Obviously, Guild Wars is one of the largest games in the world, especially in that MMO area. But I don't know how the hell this is going to work. And I'm just,
What a plot twist. I actually think this is a great idea. Because my brain goes, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like, I think about a lot of the games, like Ark, like kind of more of a inclusive environment. Like, I've always said that Horizon looks pretty, and there's a lot of elements that I find really appealing, but everyone knows that I'm a loser that doesn't really like a linear story and don't like being dragged around. And the main reason why I didn't enjoy Horizon was because of the slow draw element of being dragged through tutorials and getting to know all that, that sort of stuff. And that didn't appeal to me. But when you give the option to be kind of like, well, here's this beautiful world we created, here's the lore, here's the tools, here's all that experience, but kind of go out there and kind of make it your own kind of thing, like, that's when I'm interested, that's when I'm on board. So if that's what they give me, then I guess technically it would be more appealing to me. Technically, it would be more appealing to me. So, wow, I honestly thought we would both be kind of gushing at the idea of this, and it's completely switched around.
Yeah, I'm struggling to get fully on board with it. Like, more Horizon, awesome. That's exciting. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to see this IP get further farmed, but I'm just curious how this is going to play out. Like, maybe the way it would work is when you're starting and you're creating your character, you get to pick from maybe one of the certain tribes. So maybe you start as someone from the Norse or one of the other tribes there, and that would zone off the game differently. Like, I'm just thinking, like, how WoW and stuff works, where you start with your certain race and then you start in different hubs and everything else. So maybe there is some depth to this that would become more appealing to me closer to release. But yeah, I don't know. Like, when I heard this news, it just didn't hit me the way I was hoping for it to, because, Horizon's very near and dear to my heart, and I really love the formula we've got for the first two games. So maybe I'm having a hard time disconnecting from that, because that linearity, and even though there is some open world elements in there, but that more hand-holding experience of a video game, I love that with Horizon. Where this, I don't know. I gotta wait and see. Once this thing becomes more of a thing and we get some more information about the gameplay, maybe I'll get more excited as the announcements roll out. But right now, I'm just like, no, we don't need this.
I guess maybe it's more looking at, do you need it? Like, is it something that's necessarily needed? Like, I wouldn't have thought that Elder Scrolls would necessarily need an online element, but they did. Whether it was successful or not is usually debatable, but I just think if you build something so incredible, something so gorgeous, and you think it out a lot and you develop it enough that, like, if you're making it more open and more accessible to other people and creating your own narrative in it or creating your own experience in it, it's a great opportunity. So I don't know.
That's true.
Very curious.
I just worry that maybe we'll have to reduce a little bit of that graphical fidelity to offset, the server sizes and stuff.
True,
so it'll still be stunning. Don't get me wrong. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is gorgeous. WoW's pretty in its own way. Some of the other MMOs that have popped up, New World and stuff, they've been visually pretty impressive, but not as like jaw-dropping as these big singular narrative games. So we'll see. But yeah, sadly, it just didn't warm my heart up the way I was hoping it to when I heard that there's another new Horizon game allegedly on the way. But
it warmed up this cold heart to Horizon.
But the other thing too on this is it's a Sony franchise, but you think, for a good meaty MMO, it's got to be on PC, right?
Yeah.
Like, most of the MMOs, there's a lot more buttons and abilities and things like that. Like, obviously with Horizon, there's not really abilities per se, it's weapons. So how are they going to offset that, where there's going to be certain character archetypes where you're casting spells or you've got abilities on cooldown? So it's going to be a bit of a remapping of the standard combat formula, but we'll see. I'm just hoping that my heart warms up like yours does closer to the release date of this one, if it gets off the ground.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm just a tad more positive. I can see it. I can see the potential in it. So it's wild. Definitely not how I thought that conversation was going.
Oh God! Moving on here. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has now generated over $1 billion and become the fastest selling title in the series to hit that milestone. Activision's latest press release states that the previous record for hitting $1 billion was set by Black Ops 2 back in 2012, and that took 15 days, where Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 took just 10. So, ain't no one surprised about this. COD is that annual cash cow, and clearly people have been thirsting to get back into one of, in my opinion, greatest entries into the Call of Duty franchise. Modern Warfare 2 really put that game on the map for me, and so many hours were spent in the multiplayer element of that, so much team deathmatching. And the world be hungry for COD. $1 billion in 10 days. Like,
yeah, you are right. It is pretty much the guaranteed purchase in just a lot of genres. Like, a lot of people play it, people who are like serious dedicated gamers, and then your casual gamers. It's just a very accessible first person shooter for a lot of people, as well as being attached to a very well-known name of Call of Duty. I am surprised that it's had such a success in purchases. Obviously it's been some time, but have you been seeing how much backlash and negativity has been attached to this release, where we're seeing just like loadout issues or server issues, or just the game in general just absolutely shutting down on people mid-game? Like, I've seen a lot of people complaining, saying that the game has been released in a bad condition, essentially.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a bumpy release, to say the least. Apparently, there's a ton of bugs. I haven't played a single second of MDubs 2 yet, the new entry, and I'll get around to it. But yeah, from what I've heard and what you've relayed as well, there is, yeah, it hasn't been stable, I guess is the easiest way to classify where this game's been at so far. And it hadn't reviewed very well either. Like, I'm just quickly pulling up the Call of Duty review set here.
Yeah, well, like, and the other thing is that I don't think they have yet released their battle pass. I don't think they've dropped that yet. And then there's Warzone as well, which is usually attached. I think that's coming out in sometime November, I believe. That's the thing that everyone's hyping about. They're more looking forward to the Warzone drop. So, but yeah, just the most of the negativity I've seen is just player matchups not working, a lot of people just getting kicked out of their games, and just general connectivity issues.
Yeah, it's I'm not surprised, but it is worrisome because obviously this game has planned to be like a 2-year life cycle churn. So next year we're not going to have a brand new Call of Duty in 2023. Modern Warfare 2 and the subsequent Warzone attachment, Warzone 2.0 is going to be supported, and new content's going to drop over the next 24 months in the interim until that new COD in 2024. So it's worrisome that it has gotten off to a little bit of a slippery start, you could say. Like, yeah, it's still selling like no one's business. And if they can get this game up to snuff as far as stability, people will hang around. But you don't want another Battlefield scenario where the game's that busted and people just drop off and go back to other shooters, of which there are many. But yeah, Metacritic, 77 for Xbox, 78 for PlayStation, and 80 for PC. So that's passable, but then looking at some of the scores, like 6.5 out of 10 from Game Informer, IGN for the single-player campaign, 6 out of 10, PC 6 out of 10, Shack News 6 out of 10. So a lot of the premium outlets did sort of under-review it per se. Sure. And sadly, the campaign from Modern Warfare 1 and 2 was phenomenal, and obviously they've redone some of that and added new layers to it, and it seems they missed the mark.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring up the point that they're not going to be doing the yearly release of Call of Duty content. So this one kind of has to hold on people's attention for 2 years, which I think they will. And I don't know if these technical issues that they've been experiencing is as comparable to Battlefield. But it's enough. But gamers complain. Like, I don't know.
That's it.
How bad is it?
Yeah, if there's a slight door ajar for someone to kick in to then scream at the top of their lungs about something they probably genuinely don't even care about, they're going to do it. Yeah. And there's been a lot of discourse around MDubs 2, but it still looks stunning. Like from some of the Twitch streams I've seen, and just obviously gameplay slices through announcements and on the internet. The game looks very impressive, but good. Yeah, I can't really talk to the stability of the title too much. But we'll see as the weeks and months continue to roll by.
Sure, and I mean, when you are one of the most popular first-person shooters out there, you are going to hear a lot of negativity because you have a lot to choose from, don't you? So, not necessarily the most friendly of fan bases either. So.
Yeah, you're going to be immediately under the microscope more than others because
course.
You are the juggernaut of the shooter universe. So we'll see. But yeah, $1 billion in 10 days. Holy guacamole. That is a lot of cashish. Moving on. Alongside revealing the voice cast and a new trailer, Netflix has announced that all 6 episodes of the animated series Dragon Age Absolution will be released on December 9th of 2022. Dragon Age Absolution is a new series from BioWare and Red Dog Culture House that is a spin-off of the video game franchise that began in 2009 with Dragon Age Origins. The story will follow Kimberly Brooks' Miriam, an elven mercenary who was once a slave in Tevinter and who must now become the hero she was born to be. So the trailer looks impressive. I'm excited. I'm a bit of a Dragon Age fan. Obviously, I've got a soft spot for BioWare and their pretty uneven releasing of games over the last several years, but Dragon Age is fantastic and I cannot wait for the next entry into the mainline game series. But in the interim, knowing that this is coming out in less than a month's time on Netflix, let's go.
Yeah, I haven't really played a Dragon Age game, but seeing the trailer looks pretty cool. High fantasy. Curious that Netflix managed to hold on to this one and didn't cancel it before they went on a crazy cancelling frenzy. So hopefully the series sees success and hopefully earns themselves an additional series, unless they're just happy making one season and open and shut kind of story. But yeah, and end of the year, so you'll be able to get it out and at the end of the year and watch all in one go. So
I'm hopeful. Like you nailed it. I think as long as if they're going to aim to tell a complete story in 6 episodes, awesome. But if this leads to a cliffhanger on the end of the 6th episode, and then Netflix is going to Netflix and just cancel this damn thing, I'm going to be pissed. So hopefully either they've got a nice story that's going to be told in those 6 episodes, or they've got plans for multi-seasons, and Netflix has internally committed to following that commitment.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But yeah, it's awesome because we've got a lot of good things coming out at the back end of this year, and that I guess leans into the next story because we've got season 3 of the show we're about to talk about coming out at the back end of December of this year as well. And I've just titled this one, Toss a Coin to Your Hemsworth, because this happened over the last couple of weeks. We haven't really talked about it here on the potty, but obviously for anyone that has been living under a rock, Henry Cavill has announced he is putting down the sword and retiring as Geralt of Rivia after the 3rd season of The Witcher. And off the back of that news, also announced that Mr. Liam Hemsworth is going to be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. And I've got some words here from Eurogamer. And according to a report by Redanian Intelligence, Hemsworth was actually a frontrunner for the part before the role ultimately went to Cavill. As such, sources state the casting process this time around was very quick, with it being implied the producers simply went back to their original audition tapes before settling upon Hemsworth as the replacement for Geralt of Rivia. This was all reportedly done during the latter part of summer 2022, or Australian winter of 2022, during season 3's production. However, despite the producers' enthusiasm for Hemsworth, many Witcher fans are less enamored with the news of this recasting. In fact, chugging along confidently in the background, a petition to get Henry Cavill back into the role on change.org is on the cusp of becoming one of the site's most prolific ever. At the time of writing, the Netflix "You must keep Henry Cavill as the Witcher and replace the writers instead" petition has already had 133,966 signatures. If the petition makes it to 150,000 signatures, it will become one of the top signed petitions on change.org's history. While Cavill has not spoken further about his decision to step back from the role of Geralt, many have surmised he was not happy with the direction the show was going, with the production team drifting too far from the literary source material. In the past, the actor openly expressed his desire to make his version of Geralt as true to the books as possible, with his co-star Freya Allen, who plays Ciri, even referring to him as a Witcher Bible. In an interview with Fortress of Solitude ahead of the show's 2nd season, Allen explained, "We'll be doing a scene and Cavill will be like, I think we should use this line from page 253 of Blood of Elves." And I'm like, how does this dude know this stuff? End quote. So this is not breaking news, but heartbreaking news, you could say. There's been a lot of sadness and hostility and anger that has come on the back of this, because this came out of nowhere. There was just a simple tweet and an Instagram post from Henry Cavill where he mentioned that he's laying down his medallion ahead of season 4. He then handed the mantle over to Liam Hemsworth, and the internet was immediately up in arms, saying this is horrific and horrible and all the worst kinds of things. And I get it. The fact that internally, from what I've read in the interviews, Cavill committed to like 7 seasons of The Witcher if they were to stay true to the source material. But as we mentioned there, they've sort of started to veer off from the original books and get creative and do things outside of the scope, which I think maybe ultimately upset Cavill a bit too much. And he's sort of amicably left. And now Liam Hemsworth is rolling into town to pick up the swords. Miss Hart, what's your thoughts about all this? Have you got a strong opinion on this recasting? Are you happy? You sad? Where do you stand with this whole Henry Cavill Witcher debacle?
Well, I haven't played a Witcher game. I haven't read a Witcher book. So I have no strong connection to the franchise. I mean, I have a strong connection to Cavill. I'm sad that I'm sad he's going. There's something to appreciate when someone is doing their best for a role, but then actually knowing the role and knowing the universe, essentially, the story in and out, and trying to get that portrayed. Like the fact that he was gunning for it more than writers and people that are supposed to like go from source and then bringing it to screen. Like there's people that their whole role is to make sure that it translates from source to screen, and that he's the one that's doing the legwork. He's the one that's kind of putting it out there. And yeah, the reports are saying that the showrunners, the writers, they're changing stuff. And then that he stuck by what he said, and the second that the material wasn't going to be true to source, he would leave. He wouldn't be a part of it anymore. So there's something really, really respectable about that. So yeah, I'm sad that he's going. Yeah, I'm sad that he's not attached to it, but he's stayed true to his word. He stayed true to his love of the franchise, and that's just I think that's just amicable. But I also don't want to be named Liam Hemsworth right now, because I could just imagine the amount of hate I would be getting. And then now, because Henry did such a fantastic job in this role, and we just all grew to love him, and we all agreed that yes, this is Geralt. Geralt. I said it right the first time. And we all have now attached him to the role. I am very curious to see what they're going to do this transition into a completely different actor playing the role. I don't know if they're going to do a time jump or a time rewind or some kind of weird mix around like that. Like, how do you take someone that's just been so perfect for the role and just completely change him out without it being an eyesore, like just absolutely noticeable? It's big, it's heavy.
It's going to be super jarring. And the fact that like this isn't just after, episode 2 or something. This is going to be happening in the 4th season. So we've got 3 seasons of Henry Cavill as Geralt, and then Liam's going to roll into town. And that first episode in season 4, when you see him, swinging his swords and using his gruff, very minimalist dialogue, it's going to be so strange. Mm-hmm. It's going to feel like you're watching a completely different show, but I'm not gonna abandon the Netflix adaptation of The Witcher. I'm gonna still watch because I really enjoy what they've been doing with the show. But I also, like you said, I admire the hell out of Cavill for sticking to his guns and saying, you know what, I was all in if you were respectful to the source material, but because you are flexing your creative liberties a little too much for me, I am out. And that says a lot about someone for him to stick to his guns and stay true to his word. Like, yeah, I respect the hell out of him for that. It's just a shame that they couldn't come to an agreement internally and like, okay, we know that you are the driving force of this show. Let's maybe peel back the creativity and the changes and the new form of expression that these showrunners are trying to get out there, and let's just scale back to the source material and keep everybody happy. Because I wonder if the show numbers for season 4, when it does drop from a numbers perspective, and it might end up having this show get cancelled. We might never get those 5th, 6th, 7th seasons potentially, if that's what the plan and the roadmap is. So it's worrisome in a whole heap of ways. We might only get a story that's going to be 2/3 told, because the internet in mass could show up and go, you know what, we're out. Screw you, Netflix. Screw you, Liam Hemsworth, even though it's not his fault. It's nice to hear that he applied or auditioned for the role like during the initial casting process. Sure. So there is some familiarity there, and it shows that hopefully he has a bit of care about this world as well. Maybe not to the level and understanding of Cavill.
Yeah, I think it was said that he was a fan, but I think a lot of people say that they're a fan of a franchise sometimes. It's just like, you can be a fan of something like, yeah, I played it, and then you can be Henry Cavill and quote a page.
He lives it. He lives this universe like day in and day out. So it is upsetting to see a super fan that is so passionate about this world, that was leading this world into mainstream, into the mainstream lens, and now he's leaving. And obviously there is the other internet rumors that he had to leave due to him re-upping as Superman and all that nonsense. But I feel at the crux of this, it's probably due to the creative differences between the writers and the showrunners and Henry Cavill, where they wanted to do their own thing, and he's like, nope, stick to the source material. And I reckon that's where the crux of this problem probably stemmed from.
Yeah, and I'm just remembering too, I think I didn't care for the second season that much. I think I felt like there was a lot of dead time in that season, that I felt like there was not much happening in the middle. So I'm very curious to see when the new season comes out, if it is very much the same, where there's a lot of dead time in between and not much happening, because I could understand that being a problem for a series too. But that was my opinion, obviously. Other people loved it from start to finish, but that was just my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm very, very biased. I'm all in on this show. And the crazy thing, we've got plenty more Witcher on the way. Obviously, we've got the Blood Origin spin-off, which is exploring the creation of the first prototype Witcher, which launches on the 25th of December of this year. And then season 3 of The Witcher is due out for US or global summer, Australian winter in 2023. So we've got a ton of Witcher-based content coming your way. But yeah, I'm just waiting to see those first professional shots of Liam Hemsworth in the outfit.
Yeah.
And that will sort of make or break it for me as far as, I guess, how in I am. I'll still watch it. I'm not going to abandon it. But if he can embody Geralt in these shots and in that sort of just general energy and presence that Geralt has, even by barely speaking, if he can sort of have that same magnetism, then there's hope for this show.
Maybe they'll just go straight to beard, full on beard, and just be like, that's the difference. He has a beard now.
Yeah, and Liam Hemsworth, he can rock a good beard. Obviously, I've never seen him with silver hair before, or white hair, but
I've seen him with a stash.
Yeah, seen him with a stash and a full beard. He's usually, he's got a good head of brown hair, but let's see how he looks as the White Wolf come 2024, maybe 2025, I guess, when we get season 4. All right, the next bit of news. For anyone still on the Halo bandwagon, fear not, because Halo Infinite's long-awaited winter update, which developer 343 Industries calls the game's largest feature update yet, is now live on Xbox and PC, including campaign network co-op, the official launch of the Forge beta, and more. 343 has provided extended release notes on its website, but the key additions start with the aforementioned campaign network co-op, making it possible for up to 4 players to experience Halo Infinite's campaign together. Crossplay between PC and Xbox devices is also supported, and progress and unlocks are shared across all players, not just the host. That's awesome. To accompany the arrival of campaign co-op, the developer has added 24 new achievements, many of which require collaboration to complete. And in another much requested feature addition, all campaign missions are now available for replay via the TAC map, meaning players can now hover up to any outstanding achievements or collectibles without needing to play the whole thing over again. The next biggie is long-awaited return of Halo's much-loved creation tool, the Forge, which is now officially available in beta form and said to be more powerful than ever, as we've already witnessed thanks to earlier leaks. This initial version of the Forge launches with 6 canvas maps, a new visual scripting engine, object scaling, lighting and audio tools, bot support, significant budget increases, file sharing capabilities, and more. 343 notes the tools will see updates and support over time, evolving to add even more content to further inspire and empower creators. Elsewhere, Halo Infinite's winter update adds 2 new multiplayer maps and a new mode. There's Argyle, a tight indoor symmetrical map set within the narrow corridors of a UNSC vessel, and Detachment, a symmetrical area map unfolding both within and without a once abandoned UNSC research facility situated on a rocky outcrop. As the new mode, it's called Covert One Flag and is described as unique one flag capture the flag variant in which attackers and defenders swap sides each round as they battle for control over said single flag. So the game obviously has been out for just on close to or just on 12 months now. We've finally got the online campaign co-op. Better late than never. I'm not going to poo-poo on 343 for getting this thing out well beyond launch, but some notes there that I thought sounded really great. Obviously, 4-player campaign co-op, and the fact that progress and unlocks are shared across all 4 players. There's nothing worse than playing an online game with friends where only the host is getting the things popped, or the experience or the save only is relevant for them, where if you jump out of that instance back in your own game, you're back to square one instead of all that hard work that you've just done following with you. So that is awesome to see. The fact that there's some more achievements for those achievement hunters there to pop. But yeah, this is cool. Am I going to go back anytime soon and play Halo Infinite with some friends? Probably not, but maybe like over Christmas or something, if there's a bit of downtime and someone says, yo, do you want to roll the campaign together? I'll be like, yeah, okay, that could be fun. Because it is an awesome, gorgeous open world, and playing that with other people would be great.
So I never did the campaign. I was waiting. I was waiting for this. I was waiting
Here you go.
to do the campaign and share the experience with other people. So now I can. So now I can get a team together and I can experience my very first Halo campaign with friends. So maybe I'll just line that up with you guys and get that experience. So that's positive for me. I finally get to do that. Mm-hmm. I love that there's been 2 maps dropped. If there has been additional maps that have dropped since then, since like the previous and like initial drop with multiplayer, and since then there has to have been more maps dropped since, right? It's just not an additional.
I think there's been a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good then. I enjoyed my time playing multiplayer Halo. The biggest hurdle, the biggest issue that I faced in wanting to play more, obviously there was some releases that came out that took my attention, but there was a lot of connectivity issues, in the sense that there was a lot of downtime trying to wait for games, or having people drop out, or then just having an experience where games would just load in incorrectly. And then it got stale after a while. There was a lot of the same maps, same game modes, and it just kind of got boring after some time. So I'm hoping like this new winter content will benefit them and they'll get more people in, because I would say, based on how successful and well loved the franchise is, for it to have just a very, very quick burst hype a time of release, and then it just died very, very quickly, very, very quickly. Even the esports side of it, the competitive side, that is had a really rough start, and I think it's had a really negative overall experience to all professional players that decided to either change games or start up in there, and a lot of them have already left the competitive Halo scene and gone back to their previous games. So
yeah, I'm hoping this announcement and the fact that this update is live right now is great, and hopefully it is a bit of a shot in the arm for this franchise and gets people coming back, and maybe reinvigorates the Halo community, because there has been a lot of negativity on the back of the release and things not coming out when people expected them to, and having things lacking and whatever else. And I completely agree. The downtime in between multiplayer maps when we were playing together was a pain in the ass. Like, the queues were really long, and people were dropping in and out and then trying to get back into parties, and it was a little bit janky. So hopefully they've fixed that over time. Like, I haven't played Halo in, I'm guessing, maybe 6 months now, maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd have to be very close to that.
Yeah, so you think there's some quality of life improvements there, but I'm keen to jump in and I guess experience Halo with you for the first time, because I think that'll be really cool, because the game is stunning and the story from the campaign is really well done, and the fact that they've gone open world for it for the first time, I think you're jumping into this universe at the right time. So we'll have to sort of put some time aside where I can drop in with you when you're working through the campaign.
Yeah, that might be fun. You could explain things to me as well. Yeah,
there's a lot of lore there that we can unpack, but it'll be a good time. So any Halo fans, the winter update out now. Get on in there, play some multiplayer, play some campaign co-op, and just have a good time. The last bit of news for THC 307, titled this one, Grinded My Gears. And I got some words here from Eurogamer. Over a decade and a half after a live-action Gears of War movie was first touted, Netflix has announced it's adapting the Coalition's cover shooter series for the small screen. A Gears of War movie was first trumpeted back in 2007 when New Line Cinema purchased the rights for a live-action adaptation. However, its originally planned 2009 release date came and went, and the project has bounced around in development hell ever since. Last resurfacing in 2019 when it was reported it would no longer even be set in the same universe as the games. Jesus Christ. Whatever happened to that version of the adaptation, we may never know, as Netflix on this, the 16th anniversary of the original Gears of War's release, has now announced a new partnership with current franchise stewards, the Coalition. It's a partnership that'll see the streaming service funding 2 separate Gears of War projects. First up is a live-action feature film said to be an adaptation of the video game saga, suggesting it'll be more faithful to the source material than Universal's stalled effort, and that'll be followed by an adult animated series. Neither project has even a hint of a release date at present, but Netflix, whose seemingly endless lineup of future video game adaptations includes the likes of BioShock and Tomb Raider, has teased the potential for yet more Gears of War stories to follow. So, I'll quickly throw my thoughts on this one. Adult animated series, where it's going to go an easy comp and go, something that's going to look and perform as well as something like Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Let's go. I'm in. Happy to hear about that. But trying to cram potentially the entire Gears of War story into one film, that scares the pants off me, because there is a lot of lore, there is a lot of story, there's a lot of characters, and trying to churn multiple games into a 90-minute jaunt rarely ends well. So I would have preferred to hear that they're making it into a series as well, but we don't all get what we want, and I will try and remain a little optimistic and see if Dave Bautista finally makes his way into the casting for Gears of War on Netflix.
He'll be very upset if he doesn't even get acknowledged or even consideration for this, because he's probably been the most loud when it comes to advocating for this to get its movie release. Unfortunately, it has been marked with Netflix, as we previously stated, so that's always concerning when Netflix is attached. I think a movie would be good. I think it wouldn't cover the entire Gears of War story so far, but I think it could definitely cover maybe the first 2, 3, maybe squeeze in a little bit, possibly, maybe. The problem here is that, and this is, I guess, just me, like, I don't know how you're going to get those kind of characters into the movie, like these with the right charisma and engagement to hold a movie and keep it interesting from start to finish. I'm sure it's possible. That's the only negativity that I bring to this thought process of getting a Gears of War movie, is you want a great charismatic team. You don't just want machismo gruff. You kind of want the attachment, because there's a lot of emotional dialogue, characters, scenes. We all know one specific scene in particular, but there's a lot of great character design as well. Like a lot of the what's it called, Berserker. I want to see a Berserker in the movies, because that was like the first time in like a game in like a long time where I went full panic, and I think I threw my controller because it really got me. So I don't know, I think I just see this through a rose-tinted glasses, in that like it was one of the first franchises that I got into with Xbox. It's one that I loved, and I definitely thought playing it like, oh, this totally could be a movie. This totally could be a movie. Yeah. So I want it to be a movie, but I want it to be successful. So
yeah, like the lazy comp, like it's not apples to apples, but it's going to be in the same vein of like Starship Troopers, I think, with maybe a little bit more emotional depth.
Yeah.
And if they can nail that,
pretty fair.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I think if it's going to be a movie, if they were to maybe just sort of focus on Gears 1 to begin with, and if it's successful and they sort of mentioned there's potential for more Gears stories to follow, maybe then do a second one where they can build off more of the story. I just worry, especially with the, like you said, the cast, like they're larger than life, and you don't want to have some of them get lost in the background if you're trying to introduce too many of them into one movie. So maybe just focus on that first story with Marcus and Dom and Cole and Baird, and just those sort of primary frontline characters, and then build out that world as we go. But if they can nail the look and feel of the Locust, like I don't know if they'd do CG with them or they'd do sort of like practical special effects costume play.
True.
I'm hoping they do practical effects. Like you can see the success of something like the Predator franchise when they're using suits. That would work really well with something like this, as opposed to animating all these enemies that they're going to be fighting, because it just looks and hits better on the screen when it's practical, I think, still.
I think it would have to be a combo, only because when you're fighting armies, that's a lot of money right there. So sometimes CG just works for certain moments, but practical effects would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I'm very excited though. I'm very excited, and I hope we get like a big scene with the big Brumac, like the big giant like Rancor looking things from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a few moments like that in the game. So I hope we get some of those more big nightmare fuely creatures from the Locust Army. But yeah, Netflix is just gobbling up every gaming IP it can and putting it on its platform. And I'm not sad about it, but like we sort of talked about it today and every other episode as well, they're very ruthless, where if this is underperforming, they can just chop it straight away and leave stories just out in the lurch untold. So
yeah,
fingers crossed. And I'm very happy that 2019/2009 New Line Cinema adaptation, where it wasn't even going to be set in the same universe as the games, never happened, because that sounds bananas.
It's horrible.
Yeah, but that's Hollywood for you. But something that is a little less horrible and also very exciting news.
Tweet of the week.
This tweet comes by way of @JP__Ghibli. And there's no text here, just a video trailer. And it looks like everyone's favorite Japanese animation house, Studio Ghibli, is collaborating with Lucasfilm. So maybe some more Star Wars anime style vibe. Also, we had the animated series that came out, I think it was 2020 now, if I remember right. And it was kind of cool. There was some unique episodes and some unique sort of stories being told there. But the Ghibli Lucasfilm collab coming soon to a screen near you, Miss Hart.
Yeah, it's a very, very curious collaboration. A lot of people are very, very excited for it. Obviously with recent affairs of how Twitter has been, a lot of people weren't even sure if it was real. It was just because of how pretty incredible, like two juggernauts in the entertainment space coming together to create something. It's fair to be a little bit skeptical. I want to see, I already want to know, like, what are they covering? Like, whose story are they trying to tell? Are we just going to be completely as far away from any story that we've ever known? Like, are they going to have the creative freedom of just being like, here's the Star Wars universe, here's the lore, create whatever story you want? Like, yeah, fingers crossed. Let's stay away from the Skywalkers, can we?
Please, God. Please, Ghibli God. No more retelling of the Skywalker story and the family. Let's get, like Ali said, as far away from that as possible. Let's go somewhere new with new characters, new story, new excitement. Get some new cult heroes and anti-heroes and villains to follow and worship for years to come, please.
Exactly. Some new planets. So a little less desert, maybe. Stay
away from Tatooine, Ghibli, please. No Tatooine, no Hoth. Stay away from those two.
No.
No Endor, none of that. Let's stay away from the only three main planets that seem to exist in Star Wars. Let's go way, way, way out to the left or the right. I don't know, whichever direction is as far away from those ones as possible.
Yeah,
but it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ghibli will do it justice.
Definitely. It's definitely going to be pretty. Oh, I'm curious about the soundtrack. Do they have control over the soundtrack? Because Ghibli's always had an incredible score attached to all of their movies. So I'm very curious what kind of musical score we'll have attached. Unless Lucas just does their thing and like, well,
keep John Williams away from this.
We've got someone.
Tell him to hang out in the back. Tell him to take a break. He can go focus on all the other Star Wars stuff.
But yeah, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing what comes.
I'm super excited for that. I don't know when it's going to be coming out. It's going to be a little ways down the line. But if you don't want to wait a little ways down the line to get some new content in and around your eyeballs and ear holes, don't worry, because we got you covered.
New releases and events.
There is a lot of TV and films coming to Netflix and Stan and all the other respective streamers this coming week. So we're talking content that's going to be dropping anywhere from, say, the 12th of November through to the 20th of November. And we've got The Polar Express, 1889, Dead to Me Season 3, Elite Season 6, Rick and Morty Season 6 is continuing as of this week coming, Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, Fleishman is in Trouble, Disenchanted, so that's the movie sequel to the Disney hit Enchanted, which I absolutely freaking love. I love that movie, and I'm so happy we got a sequel. And then Yellowstone Season 5 is dropping this week as well.
Right.
Let's see what's been happening out at the Dutton Ranch. See who's going to die this season, because these guys be killing everybody.
God, this show is ridiculous. So I will be hearing about it. Obviously, my husband will be watching it, so I'll find out what that mess of a woman is up to.
Oh, she is a hurricane on the screen. On the big screen, not really any big movies of note. The only thing I could sort of find that sort of was doing the rounds is something called She Said. But there is a nice assortment of games making its way to various platforms as well. Some of these could be ports to new platforms for the first time, but we've got Floodland, Pentiment, which I'm actually very excited about playing. That's coming to Game Pass this week. Looks really, really funky. Smurfs Kart. So we've got a kart game set in the Smurfs universe coming to the Nintendo Switch. Somerville. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge making its way to PlayStation 5. Wise 8 Lacrimosa of Dana coming out as well on PlayStation 5. Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 coming out this week. Goat Simulator 3, Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales dropping on PC. We've got PID. We've also got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out. Oof. Resident Evil 3 coming to Switch. And the Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, coming out on all the platforms. And I reckon that's got strong possibilities of being the best game in the Dark Pictures anthology to date.
Knock on wood. Hopefully.
So a ton of games there.
Busy week. Like, obviously, Dark Pictures, we're always interested in seeing how those turn out. I completely forgot about Pokemon again, even though it constantly gets reminded to me. So I've got Pokemon. Then we obviously have that Warzone, which was mentioned earlier. We've got Goat Simulator, which is a fan favorite. Busy. And then obviously the biggest release, which is Smurfs Kart on Switch. It's a very intense week of gaming.
I want to fang around some Smurfs-based track as Gargamel. I don't know what weapons you throw at the Smurfs, but I want to smash Hefty Smurf up something fierce with a Smurfs equivalent turtle shell. Yeah. What do you think the weapons are in Smurfs? Mushrooms? Maybe
and
they throw their
bottles?
hats. Potion bottles.
Well,
fur balls from Gargamel's cat. I can't remember the cat's name, but maybe he swings the cat around. I don't know. But Smurfs Kart coming to Switch this week. But yeah, Pentiment, I'm excited for that. It's cool to see Miles Morales make his way to PC. Pokemon, which is just going to sell like no one's business. And then, yeah, Warzone 2.0 people are going to be thirsting for. But The Devil in Me, I can't wait to play that. Like, it's going to be a big week next week trying to find time to slot some of these games into the calendar. And Pentiment and also Goat Simulator 3 both coming out day one on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad Pentiment is going to be on Game Pass. I don't know if I actually knew that or if that was something that came more to fruition recently, but I like that. I like that we can people can experience this very unique game. So the Game Pass kind of gives you that risk element, the risk hurdle for a lot of people.
100%. So that officially brings us to the end of episode 307 of THG. Miss Hart, anything you want to shout out or mention before we close this studio down for another week?
Just a thanks to everyone that kind of pointed out that some of the esports that I could get into, little did I know that same weekend we were recording, there was a massive League of Legends event that was happening, as well as an Apex event that was also happening. So I got to experience only a little bit of that because I hadn't known. But yeah, thank you to everyone that kind of pointed some stuff out for me.
Hell yeah. But listeners, be sure to obviously rate, review, and subscribe The Hungry Gamers, as well as all the other podcasts in the 8-Bit Network, all the other podcasts you listen to on the Reg, because those ratings and reviews help keep the emotional lights on in our hearts. Obviously, videogamesandculture.com, and do the /awards to get your award votes cast for the biddies, because we want to make the biddies the biggest that it's ever been this year. But yeah, that brings us to the end of THG 307 officially, so I think it's time to get on out of here, Miss Hart. But until next time, 8-Bit Nation, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.